In General Hospital's latest episodes, Dante Falconeri has been thrust into one of the most intense and morally complicated situations of his time in Port Charles, as the fallout from the Drew Kane shooting continues to shake the city, and Dante finds himself directly in the middle of it. After investigators recovered evidence suggesting that Michael Corinthos had access to Drew's home on the night he was shot, the case shifted from ambiguous to alarming, prompting law enforcement, including Dante, to take a closer look at Michael's involvement. What began as speculation has evolved into a full-blown legal quagmire, and Dante, rooted in his duty as a cop, is now faced with the painful reality of investigating someone he cares about personally and professionally. The key that linked Michael to Drew's residence put Dante in the uncomfortable position of having to weigh facts against relationships. As a lawman, he strives to follow the evidence wherever it leads. But as someone who knows Michael and his history, he's painfully aware that appearances can be deceiving. This tension has been on full display in recent scenes, where Dante's internal struggle becomes harder to mask. He's had to balance the expectations of his superiors, the pressure of public and legal scrutiny, and the emotional complexity of dealing with a situation involving friends and allies. Even as the investigators zero in on Michael, Dante has shown a willingness to consider alternate explanations, something that hasn't always been easy in a case that seems increasingly stacked against the young mob scion. While some of his colleagues are quick to assume Michael's guilt based solely on circumstantial evidence, Dante has been more measured, reminding others that evidence needs context and that rushed conclusions could destroy an innocent life. He's been vocal about not jumping to judgment, especially when critical pieces of the puzzle, like the presence of Willow Kane in the house, have yet to be fully accounted for by the authorities. His skepticism has set him apart from others, creating friction and sparking debate within the police ranks. At the same time, Dante's involvement has drawn reactions from unexpected corners. Characters like Trina Robinson and Kai Taylor, both privy to critical details that could exonerate Michael, look to Dante's instincts to guide the narrative forward, while others push for quick resolution through arrest and prosecution. Dante's upstanding reputation, coupled with his deep understanding of Port Charles's undercurrents, positions him as both mediator and investigator, a dual role that has put him under immense strain, as suspects, timelines, and motives are reevaluated episode by episode. Dante remains one of the few voices urging patience, thoroughness, and truth over speed. Beyond the legal landscape, the situation has also forced Dante to navigate personal relationships that are anything but simple. His interactions with characters like Cameron Weber, Willow, Michael, and others reflect a professional trying not to let bond or history cloud his judgment, though in General Hospital, emotional entanglements are rarely avoidable. Dante is immediately confronted with the consequences of choices made by people he cares about, and his commitment to justice is tested as he tries to discern intention from implication. As the storyline evolves, Dante's position is increasingly nuanced. Rather than simply being the cop who makes the arrest or closes the case, he's become a figure wrestling with the bigger question of how justice should be served, especially when the evidence doesn't tell the whole story. His hesitancy to rush in reflects not weakness, but wisdom born of experience, a belief that convictions should be based on truth rather than convenience, and that the cost of error in Port Charles can ripple far beyond the courtroom. Fans have taken note of this shift in Dante's arc, with many praising the way his character anchors the legal drama amidst so much emotional volatility. Dominic Zamprogna's portrayal adds layers to what could have been a straightforward detective role, emphasizing the human stakes behind every report, interview, and investigative thread. Rather than simply pursuing justice as an abstract concept, Dante pursues it with heart, precision, and a dogged refusal to settle for incomplete answers. Looking ahead, Dante's role in untangling the truth behind the shooting, the key evidence, and Michael's potential framing remains central to how General Hospital navigates this intense arc. Whether he eventually advises law enforcement to rethink their approach, pushes for a deeper investigation, or unwittingly puts himself at odds with friends and superiors alike. One thing is clear. Dante Falconeri's presence in this storyline is shaping it into one of the most dramatic, morally complex legal sagas on the canvas right now.